Again, Colleen.
Good morning, and
Good
always
morning.
great to be here.
Yes, spring always sees a bit of an uptick when it comes to home purchasing, so it's really important to know what your rights are when buying a home.
Because I think that a lot of individuals, and reach out to our audience today, buying a home is not just HGTV and
Right.
and opening up doors. This kind of conversation, I want people to sit down with their realtor, even interview realtors, and we've had segments about that, where you sit down and you actually find out the process, and this is part of the process. It's not just, hey, can I come see this home? It's not that. So it's interesting, one of our viewers actually stopped me in the grocery store and had a situation like this with her friend.
Okay.
So I thought it was a really good conversation to have.
No, definitely. And we're also hearing that maybe with spring flooding, people are running into issues. They don't know what their rights are in some regards. So right to information.
So you do have right to information. So let's say we're going to use 123 Main Street as an example, wherever that may be. And you have a right to all the information regarding this house, as well as your information in regards to what are your rights as a buyer. There are new rules that came into play this year, and there are new representation. So you have a right to information about that particular house, as well as any history on the house. There might be, as you mentioned, flooding. There may have been a trauma in the house. There may have been fixes that were not professionally done, and will they pass code? And we'll talk more about that. But you have the right to all the information. So I encourage the audience always to ask questions.
Right, because there's going to be things you want to know about the home, but that may not always be listed. Like, was there a grow up here? Not just the size of the bedroom or the square footage, right?
And that's a really good point, because if there was a grow up, like a significant one, that affects the heat, lamps, and the plumbing, as well as insurance on the potentially getting insurance on the home.
Okay, good to know. We have to ask all the questions. Right to a home inspection. You can do it yourself.
No. Don't do that.
Not you yourself, but I mean, you can hire your own inspector and not rely on the person selling the home.
Exactly. So there are a lot of great home inspectors, and myself, there are a couple of really good ones that have been in the business for a long time. So if you use us, or if your realtor should be able to recommend a few inspectors. Now remember this, someone made a comment on social media when this came up late last fall, and they said it's a conflict of interest to recommend home inspectors. We always give you 3. We just want to make sure that you have one. It's not your brother Bob who's doing a home inspection, because if something goes wrong in the home inspection, well, they'll just say, well, Stefan just showed up and he looked at the house and said, oh, there's might be flooding. You don't have the credentials to do so.
Transparent pricing.
So transparent pricing. So this is a really important one. Again, why a really experienced realtor should offer that to you. Look at the comparables. Look at, a lot of people, especially after what we've gone through, they're like, is this house really worth it? And so it's important to see what the comparables are, what has sold in the neighborhood, right? So that you feel comfortable when putting in that offer.
Right, and let's just do one more really quickly, protection against misrepresentation, and we'll take a quick break.
Yeah, so misrepresentation is just making sure, let's say, for example, I was selling my own home and I didn't disclose that, that's misrepresentation.
Got it.
Also, if I was selling your home, Stefan, and then I brought you a buyer, if I don't disclose that I'm representing both parties,
understood,
that can be a real conflict of interest.
Yeah, double dipping is, I think, what some people call it.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to let you know that it is for information purposes, and we were talking about your rights when buying a home. We do have a viewer question for you, Colleen. Sheila writes to us asking, the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation sent me a property assessment recently, but it evaluated my property in the year 2016. That's almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
The value is very low, and I'm wondering how I price my property for sale on a very out-of-date evaluation. When will MPAC, the Municipal Property Assessment Corp., update their evaluations?
So Sheila, great question. And a lot of people don't ask this question, so I'm really glad that she did. So you can actually call MPAC back and say, we need another reassessment because it is dated.
Right.
The other thing is, though, some people are happy that their assessment is low because the taxes are lower on your property.
Fair enough.
So Sheila, I wouldn't worry too much. Again, you can give my team a call. You call a realtor that you feel trustworthy, because the price point is based not on your tax on that property assessment. It's based on your neighborhood. It's based on what kind of home you have, townhome, single detached, whatever that might be, and the neighborhood and the upgrades.
Right.
So we, even though there is an assessment on it, you should be fine. But I think there's a lot more conversation to be had when it comes to financing that home again, that kind of thing. So it's a big question.
Yeah, and that's a great question, right?
Yep.
And when you talk about right to information, if she's looking to sell her home and she wants to give a realistic expectation, not only of pricing, but what taxes may be, then that's a great one. Thank you for that, Sheila. Really appreciate it. We're now asking, what if something goes wrong, Colleen? Financing falls through.
So in the past, we talked to our viewers, financing should be a condition in your agreement, right? Unless you're really strongly pre-approved and you know that this is a home you totally can't afford, financing falls through. Usually have a 5-day business window so that you have that break. So if financing falls through, you get your deposit back. You have to have a deposit down. Most times for a home, and so if financing falls through, you get your deposit back and you can walk away.
What's the realtor language? Is that conditional sale? Like that would be one of the conditions of the sale?
Yeah, the condition, it's the conditional framework, right?
Okay.
So how long is it conditionally for? So.
Got it. Inspection red flags, something pops up.
So this is a really good one. So when you are doing an inspection, you know that window seal is broken. You know that certain things are a little off. You can't walk away for an inspection on things that you already can see.
Right.
An inspection is there to find out things that you don't see and find out about things about the house, like where's the water shut-off valve, right? Know about your sinks and your toilets and that kind of thing. An inspection red flag are things most like foundation cracks and that kind of thing. So there are different levels, and inspection red flags, your realtor and a really good inspector will walk you through and say, this is a big deal or not a big deal.
Right.
Because even foundation cracks aren't really a big deal unless they're really big.
And if you really want the home, sometimes you can knock a little bit off the cost. And you're like, okay, let's even this out. There's this crack. It's going to cost me this much to fix it. Will you knock it off the price of the home?
Exactly. It's within reason, right? It's absolutely within reason.
All right. And let's quickly, this last one, title issues.
So title issues. Everybody has title on their home. And so you have to make sure that whoever's on title is able to sign that. And are you going to put, hey, if you and I are going to buy a house, Stefan, how are we going to set back? Is it joint tenancy or is it joint in common? And these are questions. So you have to make sure that the title is free and clear. And this is where the lawyer kicks in and will guide you through that.
Awesome. Colleen, thank you so much. All of this is so helpful, especially at this time of year when we know a lot of people might be thinking about buying or selling. Information for both sides of that equation. And if you have questions for Colleen or her team, you can reach out to Trinity Stone Realty. The office number is 613-417-35.